When you look at the Nokia G60, on the surface you see a device with an okay design and maybe a display design seemingly outdated, especially for its price point. But on the inside we have a well-spec'd device with almost of the features worthy of its price. Some might even argue it's better value than the Nokia X30. Or is it? The Nokia G60 was released alongside the X30 in late 2022, both 5G devices, and I made a video that compared them based on their similarities in specifications. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check out that video. I've also reviewed the X30 if you want to check that out too. Now, there are a couple of things that stand out about the Nokia G60 5G that makes it recommendable over a lot of devices at its price point. But that depends on whether you can look past the outdated water drop display design or the fact that it's an LCD display. The G60 is a device with an okay design, as I mentioned at the start of this video, and I say okay because depending on your design preference, it doesn't really stand out among the competition, but you could say the finish on this pure black variant kind of gives it that uniqueness. Plus, it is built with recycled plastic and the display has a tough Gorilla Glass 5 protection. I still maintain that Nokia should get rid of this rear camera design though. Now, the G60 5G is powered by the Snapdragon 695, same processor on the higher X30. I may have complained about Nokia using the Snapdragon 695 on the X30, but on the G60, I have no complaints whatsoever, as I'd say it's fitting for its price and probably one of the better processors used at this level in 2022. Now, the G60 is currently priced at approximately 198,000 Naira, and on Amazon US, it's somewhere around $350. Looking at devices available in Nigeria under 200k, the G60 is right up there with great value for money. At that price, you are getting 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage, expandable by SD card. And unlike the more expensive X30 or the likes of Samsung, you get it with a 20 watts charger in the box. It is also one of the very few devices you can get at this price point with guaranteed software support up to 3 years. So that is Android 15 guaranteed. It launched with Android 12, but Nokia is not the fastest when it comes to software updates. So we're still on Android 12. I think it's about 3 or 4 months since this device launched. But I'm sure Android 13 is not so far away, probably this quarter from what I read. Now, another advantage when it comes to software on the Nokia G60 compared to the competition is the fact that this runs stock Android. So not only do you get major OS upgrades, but also in the cleanest form, and this is the closest to the Pixel experience you'll ever get. It might be worthy to mention that while you get Material You customizations here, it doesn't extend to the app icons. It would be nice if Nokia allows this with the Android 13 update. While you might complain about the fact that Nokia used a water drop notch style display for a device at this price point, the G60 gets a 120Hz refresh rate. Not even the X30 can boast of. A combination of LCD and water drop notch is something I believe only Nokia is doing at this price point, cause I really can't think of any other manufacturer that does the same. But we can look past that and acknowledge the fact that it's actually a decent LCD display and it's as smooth as 120Hz gets you at this price point. It is adaptive and able to switch between 60 and 120Hz as needed by the device, which is better for its battery life. There's no option to have it at 120Hz always. It's 6.58 inches in size, full HD, quite vibrant, and also gets brightness up to 400 nits. I'd say it's quite alright for media playback. Speaking of media playback, we only get a bottom firing mono speaker on the G60. It's decent but will not do the job of stereo speakers. The fingerprint scanner on the G60 is side mounted on the power button and it does a good job of unlocking the device every time. Now, unlike with the X30, we still get to keep the headphone jack here. In terms of performance, you will find the Nokia G60 to be up to par and not lacking in any way. The Snapdragon 695 is a solid processor and you will find the device quite snappy and smooth all across the UI. Apps open swiftly and run smoothly. Multitasking is as expected of a device at this level and I'd say you'd be pretty satisfied. It is also going to handle gaming quite well. Your favorite titles like Apex Legends or Call of Duty Mobile will run fine here at medium to high graphics settings with good and consistent frame rates. Also, no abnormal heating concerns, though I'm not much of a gamer, so I didn't really push it that much or used it to game that much. Actually, it performs slightly better than the X30 because of its higher refresh rate. While I'm not much of a mobile gamer, I can say the Nokia G60 5G will give you the gaming performance deserving of its price and will not disappoint if you'll be doing some gaming with it. It is also worthy of mention that the battery life here is actually impressive and will last you at least a day on average to heavy use. It's a well-optimized 4500 mAh battery. I've actually had this for about 3 months on and off using it, and I've not actually had issues with the battery life and overall performance. The G60 is a 5G device and it will support MTN's 5G here in Nigeria. It also has dual SIM card support. For its cameras, the Nokia G60 sports a 50MP triple rear camera setup and an 8MP selfie camera. Its secondary cameras are a 5MP ultra wide and a 2MP depth sensor. Its cameras take good looking photos with great HDR. I also found outdoor shots to be well processed with good color representation. The selfie camera, however, can be hit or miss. Sometimes it's great, other times it just looks off. If you don't find it satisfactory, you can always go the Gcam way for better quality. Now when it comes to video, the G60 can do 1080p 60 from both selfie and rear cameras, but that's just about it. No 4K recording, and that's a limitation of the Snapdragon 695. Would I recommend the Nokia G60? Yes, if you're not particular about AMOLED display or its water drop notch design, there's really nothing major to complain about. It aces on performance, great battery life, and packs majority of the specs you would expect at this price point. It is also one of the better 5G devices under 200k here in Nigeria. The alternative will be to get a Samsung Galaxy A33 which costs more, or Redmi Note 11 Pro 5G which runs the same processor as the G60 but is scarce to find. You can check here for my video comparing the G60 to the X30 and here for my review of the Nokia X30. Peace.